disabilities can participate equally, independently, and with equivalent ease of use. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As Dawn mentioned, my name is Aaron Millen. I am a husband, a father, a brother, an uncle, a colleague, a friend. I am a community volunteer and involved in several local businesses. I am part owner of Northern Grid Fitness, a local CrossFit gym where I coach a couple of classes a week and then 10 classes as often as possible. I'm also involved with Innovair Property Management, which manages several short-term rental properties, and the Millrose at the top of Provost Street, our new building, which contains 6 boutique hotel suites. And I am the broker owner of Turning Point Real Estate. And the reason that I'm at this podium this evening is because I am a person with a disability, or a disabled person, honestly. I'm still trying to figure out which one's which. This past year has been very humbling. It showed me how much I really didn't know and how much more I have to learn. I have experienced growth, frustration, excitement, awareness, and I'm still working on acceptance. Several weeks ago, Dawn asked if I would speak here tonight, and I quickly said yes. Maybe too quickly. These last couple of weeks have been a little stressful. I feel like I'm still just trying to figure this all out, like I'm a rookie in the disability space. But it did get me thinking, and I mean a lot. I have written, scrapped, and rewritten this more times than I can count in the last couple of weeks. I think the best way for me to work through it is to go back to the beginning. 370 days ago, I walked into St. Martha's Hospital in Antigonish with severe leg pain. After several tests and a CT scan, they told me I had a blood clot in my right leg, and they were sending me to Halifax. When I got to Halifax, they tried to blast the clot. That one didn't go so well. I ended up in an emergency surgery that lasted 14 hours, where they tried several times to bypass the blood clot and regain blood flow into my lower leg. And unfortunately, all those attempts failed. They kind of Frankensteined me back together, sent me back to a room, and let me recover as much as possible for what they knew was coming next. After several days in hospital, blood flow unfortunately did not regain, and toxins started to get worse. I discussed all my options with the surgeons, none of which I liked. 358 days ago, I had my right leg amputated just above the knee. I'm not gonna lie, last summer, that was challenging, but that was just the beginning. For me, life as I know it has changed forever. I was in peak physical condition. Me. I was active, relatively healthy. I stopped drinking 20 years ago, quit smoking 8 years ago. I was a business owner, actively involved in CrossFit, worked out several times a week. This wasn't supposed to be my story, but there I was, laying in a hospital bed, wondering what was next. And after that, when I went to the rehab, sitting there just trying to make sense of everything. I had no idea how things were going to play out. I never lost a leg before. I had no experience with this. I couldn't picture it. I didn't know what was available. I couldn't figure out how I would move through time and space within my environment. How long would it take me to do things? Would I ever get back some sort of quality of life? What would I be able to do? Could I go back to the gym? Could I ever walk again? What about work? Then people around me slowly started peeling back the layers. OT did a home visit to make recommendations for my house. We installed some grab bars, contractor friend built my ramp. I got home and I found out all the things that would work. And I also found out all the things that wouldn't. Moving through my home would be ongoing challenges. Then in December, I went to Nova Scotia rehab and got fitted for my first prosthetic leg. I spent 3 weeks learning how to use it, and then they sent me home to practice. It took a lot. But I was determined. I was fortunate that I had enough strength to move myself around, stand, balance. Eventually, I was able to move around in a much more familiar way. I could stand in the back row of a photo again. I could reach something off the top shelf, mainly jujubes. I could look mostly normal. But it took a lot of work. An above-knee amputation uses approximately 50 to 60% more energy than an able-bodied person. Everyday tasks consume a lot of time and energy. Sometimes just getting ready in the morning wears me out. I'm sweaty, I'm tired, I'm ready for a nap, and that's just after getting dressed. As time went on, I eventually had a left foot gas pedal installed in my car. Wow, game changer. I was able to drive myself around, get myself to work, slowly work my way back into a routine. Each new step gave me a sense of freedom, independence, and helped return a little bit of my identity. Having these aids and tools and resources is amazing. They help make things accessible. They give me a level of independence. With that, I would like to take a moment and recognize the hard work and sacrifices of all those people who have traveled this road before me. Everything I have available to me today is from your hard work, your sacrifice, and advocacy. Accessibility is growing and evolving. It affects me as a business owner and even more so as a person. So thank you. Now, I can be stubborn, but I know I need help. I always will. I don't like that. I don't want to ask someone for a drive. I don't want to ask someone to hold the door open for me. I don't want to get people to do work that I have always done. I don't want to be singled out or isolated. I want to be as independent as possible. I want to be able to move myself through time and space within my environment, but I realize that I can't do that alone. These tools allow me to continue to do things that I've always done. They allow me to fit into my environment until my environment doesn't allow it. Because when you depend on accessibility aids and features, you also realize how vulnerable you become when they're not there. Back in March, I went to the Nova Scotia Rehab for a refit. Downsized, lost weight, no I didn't. They booked us an accessible room in a local hotel. Everything was great, until the fire alarm went. Standing there putting my leg on, my wife calls the front desk and they said, it's likely nothing, but just come down to the front lobby. Okay, you know what happens when a fire alarm goes off in a hotel? You know what? Yeah, elevators don't work. Which normally might not be an issue, unless your accessible room is on the 12th floor. We walked 6 flights that morning. The alarm stopped. So we took the elevator for the rest. But for many people, fortunately, I was able to do that. But for many people, or if I just had my wheelchair and no prosthetic, that would have been a completely different story. I have learned that there's a big difference between accessible and practical. That it's not just a checklist for compliance, so someone can say they're accessible. As a business owner, I admit I didn't fully understand it. I still don't fully understand it. I'm certainly more aware. What I've also learned was the impact that mindset had on my business. As a business owner, what I've learned is that you don't know who's passing you by. I have chosen not to go to certain businesses because I'm in my wheelchair and the store is small and crowded and hard to get into. And I've also not gone to businesses because I have my leg on it. Every single step takes so much more energy, and it's a big store and a big parking lot. And the number of steps you need to take just to get something is exhausting. So the challenge is, how do we address it? I don't think it's realistic for every business to accommodate all scenarios, because even with me, same building, same person, same disability, different needs. I would like for a business to tell me they want me there, that they don't have to accommodate me, that they see me, they hear me, they welcome me, that I don't feel like I'm an afterthought. I mean, disability aside, nobody wants to be an afterthought. You get invited to a party, you knock on the door, and they open up and go, "Hey, oh, you came, wow, okay, sorry. We didn't think you were gonna come. Come on in, we got all kinds of room. We'll just shuffle some stuff around and we'll fit you over there." What happens next time you're invited? It's events like this that help create that awareness for businesses, institutions, and possibly, most importantly, people that don't depend on it. So they have a better awareness of accessibility, and that awareness is growing. One example that I'm familiar with is our provincial real estate body, Nova Scotia Association of Realtors. They're leading the way nationally when it comes to addressing accessibility features in properties advertised on MLS. We have recently implemented multiple changes to our forms so that when we list a house, we have to record all kinds of extra data. That data allows people to find a home that works for them. Number of steps to each door, widths for all rooms including exterior doors, threshold heights, hallway width, if there are grab bars, and so much more. The idea is that it's not up to a realtor to decide if a house is suitable for you. It's up for a realtor to give you the information so you can decide for yourself if it's accessible for you. Another one is an app that my wife found, Access Now. It's a business accessibility rating app, mostly in Halifax, but when people go to a business, they post how accessible it really is. Not in a rant and rave kind of way, in an informative kind of way. Just to let people know. If you need accessible features, this is what this location offers. You decide if it's going to work. For example, yes, the restaurant entrance is great, room to move around, but getting to the bathrooms is a little tough. Bathroom door is a little narrow, and it's a little small. That's it. Go if you want, but at least you know what you're getting into. I will admit, regrettably, I have not been as informed as I should have been. As a community volunteer and as a business owner, I have not been as quick to adapt or change. This past year, I have experienced things and worked through challenges that some of you have lived your whole life. For that, I applaud you. My whole definition, perception, understanding, and acceptance of accessibility has and will continue to change. I have learned that being accessible has to become more than just a buzzword or a checklist for compliance. It has to become just a way to think of space around us and how we interact with it. There's been a lot more awareness over the last several years. As a whole, we've still got a long way to go. But, as they say in CrossFit, it doesn't matter how fast you move, as long as you're moving forward. In closing, 370 days ago, I didn't know if there would be a tomorrow. 358 days ago, I had no idea what tomorrow would look like. Today, I'm excited for the possibilities that tomorrow will bring. Just imagine what we'll be able to do without barriers holding us back. Thank you.